6, I can solve multi-step inequalities. It's very similar to equations. I already wrote down all the steps, so I'll have you copy those down. Beginning is change the sign of the one behind, just like we've been doing the whole time. Distribute, combine like terms, this is all the same as before. Get the variable to one side, we added in last time. Undo addition and subtraction, undo multiplication and division. This one's new, and you should have seen it last year, but if not, it's okay. If you multiply or divide by a negative, you have to flip the inequality sign. You have to get the letter on the left, decide if it should be an open or closed circle, and then decide which direction to shade. So these steps will make more sense when we do some examples. I'm going to do a couple with just a few steps first, and we'll do some with more steps after that. So I'm going to put a question mark so we have to decide which direction to shade. So for example 1, let's do x plus 5 is greater than 12. So we're still going to draw our line, the opposite of, I can't change a sign because I don't have subtraction. Can't distribute, can't combine like terms, these are not like terms. There's variables already only on one side, so I go to undo addition and subtraction, subtract 5 from both sides, and I have x is greater than 7. So the main difference here is instead of x being equal to 7, x actually can't be 7 on this problem, x can be anything larger. Then we need to graph it, so I need to have a 7 on my number line. 6, 5. I'm gonna put a circle over the 7. You can circle it right on the 7 if you want to. The letter is already on the left here, and I decide if it's an open or closed circle. So we're going to shade everything x can be. Can x be 7? No. X cannot be 7 because x has to be greater than 7, so I don't shade in the circle. And then x is everything greater than 7, so I shade all of the numbers that are greater than 7. That was a pretty simple example, only had one step. Let's do another one quick like that. Let's do, for example 2, let's do negative 8x is less than or equal to 72. So I still draw my line. I can't change the sign, I can't distribute, I can't combine like terms, the variable's already on one side. I'm just going through all the steps here. Can't undo addition and subtraction, but I can undo multiplication and division, so I divide by negative 8. So I get 1x over here, I get a negative 9 over here, and step 6 says if I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip the inequality sign. So I'm going to flip this. It's going to become x is greater than or equal to negative 9. Now I need to graph this, so I have to have a negative 9 on my number line. And then I'm going to circle the negative 9, and I'm going to shade everything x can be. On this one, x can be negative 9. Negative 9 is part of my solution set, so I'll shade that in. And then x can also be anything greater than negative 9, so I'll shade this way because these numbers are all greater than negative 9. Okay, let's do some with more steps. Alright, let's do, for example, 3. Just deciding, let's do this one. 8 times x minus 2 is less than 64. So I'm still going to go through all the steps. First, change the sign of the one behind, then we distribute. So I'll distribute this 8. So I have 8x plus negative 16 is less than 64. Then I can't combine like terms. I already have the variable on one side, so I'll go into undoing addition and subtraction. The opposite of a negative 16 would be adding 16. So I have 8x is less than 80. Divide by 8. So I have 1x is less than 10. I don't have a, I didn't divide by a negative, so I don't flip the sign. So I just need to graph this one. I'll draw my number line. So I have to have a 10. I'll do 10, 11, and 9. I should have at least 3 numbers on my number line all the time. Then I'm going to put my circle over the 10, and I'm going to decide if I shade it in or not. X is less than 10, so x cannot be 10. 10 is not part of my solution set, so I don't want to shade in the circle, but x can be anything less than 10, so I want to shade this way. Okay, and then we're going to do just one more. Let's do, for example, 4. hopefully I don't run out of space. 15 is greater than negative 2 times x plus 1 minus 5. So I need to change the sign in the one behind. I'm going to distribute the negative 2. So I have 15 is greater than negative 2x plus negative 2 plus negative 5. I need to combine like terms on this side of the inequality. I can combine these two. So I have 15 is greater than negative 2x minus 7 or plus negative 7. The variable's already on one side, so I would undo addition first. So the opposite of a negative 7 would be a positive 7. So I have 22 is greater than negative 2x. I'm going to write that over here because I'm out of space so that I can continue working. So 22 is greater than negative 2x. Then to undo multiplication, I have to divide by negative 2. So I have 1x. I have a negative 11 over here. Since I divided by a negative, I flip the inequality sign. Before I graph it, it is much easier to graph if I have the letter on the left. That's what step 7 meant. So I'm going to switch it so the letter's on the left. I'm going to put the x on the left side, the negative 11 over here. Then remember in elementary school when you talked about the alligator's eating the x here, so it's still going to eat the x here. We just flipped the whole thing, but it means the exact same thing. Now it's going to be much easier for me to graph it. So I'll draw my number line. I have to have a negative 11 on my number line. Put a negative 10 here, negative 12 here. Put a circle over the top. And then x is greater than negative 11, so should I shade in the circle? I'm not going to because x can't be negative 11. That's not part of my solution set. And then x can be anything greater. So since it's greater, I'm going to shade in this direction.